Hello, and welcome to Thursday Night Live. Excuse me, I'm starting coughing already. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you all for tuning into the show today. So, we're going to have a great show tonight because we are going to be talking about doing psychic readings using cards. Now, I didn't say tarot cards, I said cards, and I don't mean like a deck of cards, like that you would play pinochle with, but divination cards. And when you do a reading using cards, they will offer you insight and potentially guidance. And it really depends on the focus of the reading. Usually when you do a reading, get a reading done, you shuffle the cards and you shuffle them with the intention of the question you want answered. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Usually what comes up is what you really need to hear. But when we think of getting a card reading, most of us automatically think of a tarot reading. But tarot is not the only kind of deck out there and available. There are all kinds of, and I'm going to put this in air quotes, oracle cards that you can choose from. And so I'm going to show you some of mine. And then I'm going to talk more about what's going on with doing a reading. So one of the things, when I first started getting into tarot cards, which was when I was about 18, there was this whole thing about putting them someplace safe. And so I have this like really cool box, and it has like butterfly feathers to make the decoration. And inside, I have my cards, and they're wrapped in a silk scarf. And so in this box, I have two different decks, and hopefully I'm not going to make a giant mess here pulling these out because they have not come out of their box in a very long time. Okay, so I don't even remember. I think these were like a Greek oracle, but they had like pretty cool pictures on them. This was one of my, let's see if I can find it. See if I was like prepared. Like the major cards had very cool images on them. And my favorite one, let's see if I can find it. Usually when I go looking for something, okay, this one was really good. The moon. You can't ever find what you're looking for. Anyway, but they had like historic figures. They had like naked men. The important thing, naked men, Anyway, so this was one deck of traditional tarot cards. Then let's see, what else do I have in here? I have a deck of the standard Rider-Waite cards that, when they show images of tarot cards, these are the ones that they usually put on the screen. But literally, there are hundreds of different kinds of tarot cards that you can get, like cat cards and witch cards and everything under the sun kind of cards. But they're not the only kind you can get. There are also the well, actually I have another deck I was going to show you. These are the Warwick cards. Okay, so once you start doing this work more, so that first box was like Rita, the not psychic chick. And then it became Rita, the psychic chick, and Dr. Rita. And so, you just leave them in the box because you're too lazy to do anything with them. But these have really beautiful images on them. I'm all about the pictures. Anyway, and then you get even lazier, and the box is too big to carry around. I mean, this was a convenient box because it was just held the cards. Then you just put them in a Ziploc bag, So I only grabbed this deck of oracle cards. And so these are dream cards, and these are the ones I read the most. And they have like these really cool images on them, a lot of images. And one of the things that I liked about these is for years I tried to memorize the tarot cards, and it was never happening. I have come to the conclusion if I try to memorize something, it is not going to happen. And so I switched from reading standard tarot decks, excuse me, I'm trying to like put this up, to just reading oracle cards. And I like the ones that just don't even have a description of what the card is. You know, they're just pictures to play around with. Anyway, so all right, back to my list. So there are hundreds of decks. And so when you go to look for a deck to get for yourself, look for ones that resonate with you. Look for ones that feel like they have your message in them, or they're going to work for you. And people that read a lot tend to have multiple decks until they find the ones that just work for them. So years ago, I had this one friend, her name was KB, Karen Bicanilla, and we would go to her house. Okay, so we worked together, and we would go to her house and drink Corbel champagne and eat Lay's potato chips and do readings for each other at lunch. And so she had the Toth deck, which I don't own anymore. I gave them away, and they read great at her house. And so this was us. You know, we'd lay out the cards, and then we'd be with the book, you know, looking through the book and reading the book, and they worked good. So I bought myself a deck of Toth cards, and they were terrible. They were too dark. They were too heavy. And I ended up giving them away because I didn't like them. They worked for her and they worked when we were together, but they didn't work for me with my clients. And so many beginners will use the book, you know, you lay out the cards, and then it's kind of like Knight of Wands, and you look it up and you read it. And you can get some good insights from that. Maybe not as intuitive as you might want to be, but if, you know, it's really hard to read for yourself. And so if you need to do a reading for yourself, using the book is very appropriate to do, very appropriate to do. And actually, I have another story. So again, when I was still doing the book thing, one night I had this dream about my ex-husband. And I was talking to my best friend, Tom, and he told me he had a dream about my ex-husband. And so he was coming over that weekend. And so, of course, we pull out the cards and we're doing a reading. And it was fascinating because the cards basically said, there's nothing to worry about. This whole thing, we were in the process of getting divorced. Let me put that in there. We were in the process of getting divorced. And the card said, there's not anything to worry about. This is just a heads up to let you know that there's something coming down the pike that has to do with money. So that Monday morning, I called the lawyer's office and talked to the secretary. And I said, I know this is going to sound weird, but I had a dream and my friend had this dream. And if you hear anything, let me know, you know. That Thursday, she called me up and said, we just received a demand letter of what he wanted, like the dissolution of property letter. And it was like, really? And so she was kind of blown away. We were kind of blown away. I didn't tell her that we did a reading about it, but it made it so that I wasn't freaking out getting this notification about, you know, him wanting half the dog, which wasn't ever going to happen. And so for people that read cards and use the book, you know, and I'm saying this in the most loving way, while you can get information that way, it's not truly a psychic thing from like a, ooh, your psychicness thing. And I'm going to be a little judgy here, you know, but there are people that do tarot readings that you can tell they lay out the cards and they just reiterate whatever's in the book, and they don't put their spin on it. They don't put, I don't want to say an interpretation, but there's not any like psychic-y thing happening, because they're just regurgitating whatever the book says and whatever they've learned. And so when I do a reading, I just kind of look at the card and provide insights. But there's some kind of secret things that are going on that most people don't really get. So I'm doing a screen share. I haven't ever done one before. I'm hoping this is going to work. So hopefully it's going to work. So, and I'm using the Celtic cross as layout, tarot layout, as the example. And so I don't know if this will like give me a little add to stage. Ooh, I'm still there. Okay, good. And so this is the basic layout of the Celtic cross. So it's a 10 card spread, and each card has a description. So the first card number 1, is where you are right now. Card number 2, potential challenges. Card 3, and depending on who is creating the book or writing up the layout, they might change these words around. Number 3, what to focus on. 4, your past. 5, your strengths. 6, the near future. 7, suggested approach. 8, what you need to know. So like in other layouts, this is environmental factors, which is always to me the ugliest one. 9, hopes and fears. And then 10, your potential outcome. So for those people that are reiterating the book and are struggling to like tap into their intuitive thing, know this: if you ask the universe a question, it will always give you an answer, always. And so what questions should you ask? Well, when you're doing a reading on card number 1, the question is, where's my client right now? Okay, so I'm gonna pull out some cards here. Hang on. So where's my client right now? And I'm just kind of making this up. And so the card that came up was futility, and these have words on it, but let's say it doesn't have words, but where's my client right now? So if you just look at the picture, and I'm trying to get the picture in there, it's got this like snake trying to eat the person. So maybe the impression you get from it, or the vibe you get from it, is they're being attacked, or there's this, monster that is wanting to get in their space, or, they feel under pressure, kind of thing. Whatever comes up. Sometimes it doesn't even have anything to do with the picture. Sometimes it's the little circle. There's a little circle around the guy's head, that might prompt you to some insight. The same thing with number 2. What's the potential challenges that this person is experiencing? In other spreads, it says, this is what crosses them. So I'm just going to grab another card, and this is the Chariot. And so, if I was doing a reading for someone, and I'm just, again, making this up, maybe I would say, well, your brain is going too fast, or you're going too fast. But I use the image to conjure up an idea. And it's not my brain. I am going with the focus of what's challenging them. So, and you do that throughout this whole reading, using those phrases as the prompt that you ask the universe to bring to you. But the image just kind of starts the flow. It kind of gets things moving. One of the things that I found, stop trying to do everything. One of the things that I have found is that once I start talking, the information will come through. And so, people that interrupt me all the time, it's very challenging, because there's a flow that needs to happen, and there's a way that it needs to come out. And so I might be talking about this over here, but by the time I'm done with the thought, it's taken it to a much deeper level. And so there really is this talking part. um, to the whole thing. So when I'm doing reading, especially okay, so y'all have been here long enough, and that's the reason why I say ask a question, because I'm not doing cards. And so I need a question. But if you ask a question, just like you get with the Celtic cross, where am I now? What approach should I take? Is usually part of the question. And so I can take that question and be open to receiving whatever that information is. I hope that made sense. I'm sorry about juggling with all this stuff. And so I decided today we're going to do something a little bit different. I mean, obviously, you all can ask your questions, but anybody that would like to get a little mini general reading, because I'll pick one card for you from my dream card deck, because it's my personal favorite, out of my plastic bag. We're going to do that. So I am going to read through all of my stuff and then say hi to everybody. And so when I start taking questions, if you would like a reading, just make a note, I would like a reading, and then say top, middle, bottom, because I'm going to shuffle the cards. No, cancel that. Tell me how many times you would like for me to shuffle the cards. And please no more than like 5 or 6 times, but give me a number of 1 through 6. And I will shuffle the cards that many times, and I'm going to cut the cards. And whatever card is laying on the bottom, that's your card. Okay, so let me know you want a reading and give me a number and put that all in the same post. Okay, let's do my announcements, and we are going to have fun and get the show rolling, because who the hell knows what's going to happen. Okay, so if you would like to get a private consultation from me because you need some insights, guidance, and support, please visit my webpage, soulhealer.com. Sign up for my newsletter, which will keep you up to date and inform you every time there's a live. That newsletter comes out Thursday morning, so you won't ever forget, because you'll get it Thursday morning. Join my group on Facebook, Dr. Rita Live on Facebook. I post to there a lot of uplifting, self-help, inner stuff. It's good. Just join. YouTube, Just Energy Radio on YouTube. You can catch the show there live every Thursday night at 7 o'clock Central. You can also catch it on Twitter. I'm Dr. Rita Louise on Twitter. It streams there live as well. And then you can listen to the replay on Rumble. I'm Psychic Doc on Rumble. I'm also on BitChute, but I need to add it onto this list, but I forgot. So anyway, going to go say hi to everybody, and we are going to go from there. So today, instead of posting your detailed questions, if you would like to get a little general mini reading from me, just say I want a reading and a number 1 through 6 of how many times I shuffle. Wow, tons of comments. And I know I'm not muted because I checked. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to say hi to everybody. I'm going to scroll back up, and I'm going to do these readings in a first come, first served basis. So we have Amy in the house. Hey, Miss Amy. And Bradley. Hey, my friend. Chris. Hey, Chris. Oh, Deb. All right, Deb. Oh, and this was Deb's idea. So if you guys have ideas of what you would like for me to talk about, shoot me an email, message me on Facebook. I would say post it in here, but I don't know, this goes pretty fast. Just let me know, and I'll try to cover it. But there's Chris. Hey, Chris. Victoria's here. Hi, Victoria. Miss Wendy. Hi, Wendy. Marco's here. Okay, hang on a second. God, so my internet has been funky lately. Marco's here. Hey, Marco. Yvonne's here. Hi, Yvonne. We have Tumbling Dice 44. Okay, Tumbling Dice, I will get back to you here in a second. Okay, great. All right, so I'm going to scroll back up. But remember, you want a reading and how many times you want me to shuffle, Chris. Okay, let's see. All right, Kurt says, I have many decks, just don't know what to do with them. So there you are. Okay. And then Chris said, all right, hang on a second. Yvonne said, the cars are vehicles at times. And then Chris says, oh my God, I was just thinking that. Well, maybe you're having a psychic moment. Oh, all right. So Chris, I'm going to shuffle just however many times I feel like it. And then I'm going to do middle of the pile for you. All righty. Since you said middle and I got on your case. All right, that's looking middle. Okay, I was wondering if this is going to happen. Okay, so this is what card came up, and this is called a face card in this deck. And usually this is an indicator of something you're not interested in looking at, or that there's something blocked. And when I'm doing a reading in person, I will keep laying down cards until I feel like a positive clearing card shows up. Sometimes there's one or two. I've had times when there have been 20, and I'm like, man, you got a lot of energy to work through to get past this. Fortunately, Chris, your next card was this. And so, okay. So when I look at this card and I look at your energy, I feel like one of the things that you've been working on, but you've been very challenged with, is creating unity within yourself. I feel like there's kind of two parts of you, like the inside part and then what you show the world. And I feel like you hide the inside part from other people seeing it. Fear of judgment, perhaps. And I feel like it's creating an obstacle for you. And so maybe it's time to start just owning who you are and let your sun shine through. Let your sun shine through. Cool. Very cool. Okay. Okay. So Yvonne said, I would like a reading and 3. Okay, Yvonne. All right. That's 2. And 3. Okay. All right. And so this is the card that came up. Very cool, Yvonne. This is a very cool card for you. So one of the things that you're showing me is that you have really taken it to heart to stop and listen in, become more aware of what's going on inside, and then acting on it. I feel like, and I'm going to say your guide, your higher self, I don't know, whatever word you want to put there. You've been doing more work and communicating and listening. It's not that they're not communicating with people, it's that we don't listen. And I feel like you have been really focused on listening. Good job. Good job. All right. So Deb wants a reading on Scrappy, who's a cat, who I won't even go into a whole thing about Scrappy. Scrappy Doo. Who names a cat Scrappy anyway? I mean, if it was a dog, maybe, but a cat? All right, Deb, let's see what comes up. And I hope it's like not the death card. That would be bad. Deb, I'm giving you a 4. Sorry. All right. Deb. Huh. Okay. So this card, so my interpretation of this card, like just my mental interpretation, is about transformation. Like in the corner, there's the butterfly coming out of the chrysalis, and it's just about shedding skin. I mean, Deb, there's a good cat in there. I think it's interesting that this card came up. How's that? It's like, I feel like he wants to, but doesn't know how to. I mean, there's just so much going on. Okay. I'm just going to read Scrappy here. So there's his soul, his spirit that wants to change and wants to transform, but then there's his behaviors and his habits, which are broken. And I don't know how to fix it, or how long it will take for him to fix it. I get the impression that there's part of him that would like to come out and play with the other cats, but he just can't do it. I don't know. I'm not a pet psychic, but I just feel sorry for Scrappy. Okay. Victoria says she would like a reading, number 5. Okay, Victoria, number 5. So these are like my backup deck, and they're a little, all right, so they're big. And most people go, how do you shuffle these? My hands are a little bit stiff today from working very hard, but we're going to make it through. Okay. All right. We're going to go back together. All right, number 5. Number 5. Wow, that's interesting. Okay. So that's the image about like people being underwater but Victoria, I'm not getting the impression that underwater is your energy. I get the impression that that's more of your environment that's calling out, that's, kind of turbulent and crazy. And I feel like one of the things you've been doing is you have been really trying to go inside and calm that turbulence, so that you're not being affected by it. And I think you've been doing pretty good, although sometimes I feel like you just want to bang your head against the wall because it would just be easier than dealing with some of the crazy that you're experiencing. Okay. All right. All right, now we have Kit, who wants number 5. Now, I'm glad I didn't do like higher numbers. Yeah. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and for the people that I've done the readings for, if that makes sense and it vibrates with you, please let me know, or so I can share it with the room. Okay, 5. All right, so we have Kit. Okay. And so this is the card that came up for you, Kit. And usually it has to do with like nurturing and stuff like that, my general read on it. But for some reason, I am being drawn to that image, and I'm wondering if you have some girl problems going on. Maybe it's that time of the month and you have some cramps or something. I'm going to leave it there. Let me know, Kit. I'm just really curious about that, because when I sit there and I look at all right, let me look at this. Yeah, that's where I'm being drawn, and usually that's where I need to go. So let me know. Okay. Amy says, I'd love a reading, 4 shuffles, please. Okay. 4 shuffles for Amy. And let me know what you think about this whole format of just like getting these general readings, because I'm actually kind of having fun, other than my hands are not real happy with me. All right, one more for you, Amy. Okay. Okay, so this card usually is like a guidance card for me when it comes up, but let's see what this is saying about you, Amy. Okay, so the impression that I'm getting looking at this card and your energy is I would really like for you, and I don't know if like I'm the one giving you the information, I don't think so, but, and okay, I'm going to stick with this. I get the impression that recently, and I'm not talking about Florida Sun, but other people, recently people have been coming into your orbit, not necessarily friends, but people that you're meeting, and are giving you insights and advice about stuff, you know, like they're answering your questions. And I want you to know that they're answering your questions. And so even though you might be thinking, wow, that was pretty random, listen, you know, pay attention to what they're saying, because there's guidance in there. You know, I feel like spirit is bringing that to you in that way. I hope that makes sense. All right. All right. All right. Wendy wants a reading number 4. Number 4. See, now I'm starting to set. Okay, so my niece Tanya, and I think I'm going to get her to come on the show, does a live stream just prior to this on Facebook, and she has a crystal store, and she's pretty funny, and she like sells crystals, you know, does a little shopping thing, and every time she sells something, she's like, in your basket. But I like listening to her because she's like, she makes me not look so weird. Okay, our whole family is weird, but maybe she makes me not look so weird. Okay, so let's see. Wendy, I'm not counting, so I'm going to count that as 2, 3, and 4. Okay. All right. And Wendy, this is your card. Interesting. Okay. I feel like emotionally that you have really been coming into your own. I'm going to say this coming into your own has really been in the last 3 to 4 months. So like kind of since the beginning of the year. I feel like you're becoming more comfortable in your skin. I feel like you are becoming more authentic. No, Raylan, I don't have anything for you. I mean, it's interesting because even though it has this woman on a horse, I keep feeling like it's a princess on a horse coming into town with her subjects, even though that's a little bit on the big-headed side. But I do really feel like, you know, that comfort and authenticity about yourself is moving into play. Again, let me know what you think further down. All right, so Tumbling Dice 44. And Tumbling Dice wants 4 shuffles. All right. Raylan, you need to go lay down. You need to go lay down. 2, 3, 4. All right, tumbling dice. Let's see what they have to say for you. Okay. So this is your card. I need to have like 2 cameras here. Hey, tumbling dice and you got blocks. That's kind of like tumbling dice. That's pretty cool. So tumbling dice, I get the impression that there is, I'm going to say, a new idea, a new project, a new something that you're wanting to bring into your life. I get the impression, and the more important piece is that there's information that you need to gather in order to make that happen. I feel like there's a little bit of hesitancy about deep diving and learning what you need to learn in order to make that happen. But the only way it is going to happen is if you put yourself back in kindergarten and start and go through that education process. And I don't mean like going back to college. I mean, reading some books or watching some videos or whatever that is in order for you to put a bigger box around what's going on, get a fuller understanding of what you need to do and where you need to go. But this definitely is about learning and education and growing. And then Marco says, Yvonne, hi. All right, Chris. All right, Bradley says, I want a reading too. Okay. And Marco, I want to clear Bradley, I want to clear these first, and then I will do you. Okay. All right, now I'm shuffling for you, Bradley. 1 and 2. Okay, so this is the card that came up. Okay, interesting. So even though there's this big tree, where I'm being drawn is over here. And kind of the commentary that I'm getting with that is you are beginning to live to the beat of a different drummer and you're creating your own path. And if people want to follow you, that's great. And if people don't want to follow you, that's great. But you need to do you. And this is the way I'm going. And if you don't like it, I don't really care because this is the way I'm going. So, and I feel like you've been working on that energy kind of for a couple of years, but I get the impression that something happened recently, like in the last couple of months, that really kind of set this even more forward for you. And I hope that makes sense to you. Okay. All right. So Chris says, or first she says, oh my God. And she says, you are so right. Okay. Okay. So Lacey, all right. So you're late here. I would love to give you a reading. I am going to shuffle till I feel like you're ready. Oh, wait a minute. I got to do this. And I will give you a reading. And Lacey, thank you for coming. And I hope you come back because it's really pretty fun. All right, so let's see. Lacey. Lacey. All right. Okay. So Lacey, this is the card that came up for you. And I get the impression that there's a decision that you are trying to make are in the process of making. When I check in on the decision, I feel like you already know what the answer is, but there's a part of you, and I'm going to say that part of you is the ego, that isn't liking the choice. Like, the other choice would make you more money, would be easier, there would be less sadness to it. There's a whole potential multitude of reasons why you would pick the other one, but your soul wants that other choice. So, and for your highest good, it wants the other choice. You know, sometimes when we move through challenging things, it opens the door for new growth and new happenings in our lives. I hope that makes sense. If it does and you would like to respond, I would love to hear that from you. So Yvonne says, yay, thank you. Lacey said, that's my cat's name also. So Lacey, is your cat's name Scrappy? Deb says, thank you. That card looked encouraging for him. It looked really encouraging. And I feel like his soul is there. But, you know, there's what's going on the soul level, and there's what's going on the physical plane that can sometimes be two different things. So I don't know. That was kind of confusing to me. So Otto says, Scrappy-Doo was the nephew of Scooby-Doo. Oh, the Scrappy. But it's a cat, not a dog. And Victoria says, it's been a rough and emotional day. Okay, so Victoria, I'm going to ask, but were you able to dig deep and kind of stay above the fray? You know, because I really feel like that was what the card was referring to. And I feel like it had been 2 years ago, you wouldn't have been able to do that. You know, so just acknowledge that and acknowledge the growth. Victoria said, thank you. And then Chris said, totally. And then Kit says, nope, way past menopause. Okay, hang on. See, now I don't have that card. All right, Kit, I'm going to pull all right, Kit, I'm going to pull another card because that one, I don't know why I was drawn there. You know, and okay, so Kit, if down the road there ends up being some weird female issue thing going on, I want you to come back and share that I was really right in the first place. So, all right, but I'm just going to like reshuffle. Okay. I don't want that card. We're going to go with this one here. Okay. So this is the card that came up for you this time. So I feel like you've been working on, you know, I don't want to say where I'm going next or what am I going to be when I grow up, but I'm feeling like you're working on like, what's your next step? I don't know. I'm just and I'm going to just not interpret this. You know, I keep seeing this wondering and this looking and seeking. And I feel like there's you find a lot of joy in that activity, in that looking and in that seeking and in that discovery. I feel like it brings you joy. It brings you happiness. Yeah, interesting. So Victoria says, great format, but maybe smaller cards so it'll be easier on you. Yeah, but these are my cards. These are the ones that resonate with me. And I have to tell you, so these are called dream cards. And I showed you that one that Chris got of the mask cards. And a friend of mine used to had these cards because she did dream interpretation. And that's what they were designed for, which, you know, I don't even like dreams. So, you know, I don't do dream interpretation. And I'd look at her cards and I would always see those mask cards and I would always creep out. And it's like, I don't want those cards. They got those mask cards. Except I kept looking for a new deck and I just kept getting drawn to these cards. And so I finally broke down and bought them. And once I bought them, these are pretty much the only deck I read. And I have two decks. I have one that I keep in the house in my office, and I have one that is in my conference bag for when I'm at shows, because I don't, as you see in this format, when I'm working with clients, I don't do card readings. It's like people come with their issues, they have their questions, and I just read. So anyway, all right. So Chris says your hands have been working. So, if you're a Facebook friend, you probably are seeing pictures that I've been posting about the historic house that I bought. And so today I posted pictures of the mudding and taping that I've been doing. And so today I got to sand all of the mud and tape. That was fun. Not really. I had to take a shower because I was just like covered in white. Okay, so Cheryl, hey, gotta like. So, hey, Cheryl, thanks for coming. Okay, reading 3, please. Okay, reading 3. 1, 2, and 3. All right. All right, this card came up for somebody else, but you got it too, so you're going to get it. Okay, so it's the one with the woman underwater and just kind of weird stuff. So let's see. Okay, so I don't know, Cheryl, if this is going to make sense, but where I'm being drawn is to this image down here. And the word that keeps coming up is lists. Like you've been working on a to-do list, you've been working on a bucket list. I don't know, but the word lists keeps coming up for me. I feel like one of the things that you're doing is kind of sorting out. This is what I want. This isn't what I want. This is what I want to do. This isn't what I want to do. But I keep getting this sorting so that you can be more grounded, which kind of does fit with that main image, so that you can be more grounded and say, this is who I am. This is what I want. And this is the way I'm going to move forward. And please let me know if that made sense. Okay. So Wendy said, yes, this reading format is fun. And then Chris said intuition. And then Eric or Otto says, hello. Hey, Jennifer. And she says, I would love for you to pull a card for me, shuffle however many times you want. Curious about any information from Spirit. So glad I could join tonight. Well, Jennifer, and this is the first time that I have done this. So you must have been having this psychic moment because this is the first time I've done this format. So yay. All right. All right, Jennifer. All right. So this is the card that came up for you. So Jennifer, has there been a little bit of trouble in paradise? I just am getting the words run away is coming up for me. And so where I feel like I'm supposed to be going is that, there's, and I'm going to use this in a generic way, a relationship thing that's going on. But I'm feeling like, so just some good communication. Okay. Cooler heads and some good communication, because I don't feel like it's a deal buster or a deal breaker, but y'all need to go to your separate corners and cool off and then come back and make decisions from that point in time. You know, don't let your triggers cause you to just run away. So Jennifer, let me know if that makes sense. Wow, there's just all kinds of people in here. Hey, Lori. Okay. All right. So Lori wants a reading, and I'm going to say, oh, I think you need a Starbucks. That's it. Okay, Lori, let's see. Let's see. And you said 3. All right, I'm going to do one more time. You know, if I read and I see 3, then I would maybe just do a 3, but I just am like doing whatever the hell I want. Okay. Ooh, this is a good card. All right. So this is the card that came up. And so what I'm getting is, Lori, they are wanting you to go play. They are asking you to, and I know this might be really hard to hear, find some fun in your life, to find some happiness, to find someone that can just make you laugh. You know, and I'm not feeling like you need to like create all of this stuff, but I'm feeling like you need some laughter and you need something to smile about and kind of get out of your own way and out of your own funk so that you can become you again and become whole and solid. You know, and it doesn't even matter if you don't like the person real well, as long as they make you feel better and laugh. Seriously, because they don't have to be your bestie. Okay, so Victoria, that I can't say the last name, says hi and wants a card reading. All right, so let me just do a little quick shuffle here. And okay, and this is the card that came up, and this is Victoria. Okay. So one of the things that I'm feeling, Victoria, is that you've been working really hard. I feel like you almost feel like you're moving upstream. I feel like the things you're moving upstream from really aren't your things, but they're the other things that people kind of put there. Work and family jump to the front of the line for me. And I feel like because of that pressure, you're being called on to make a choice. Do I take care of me or do I take care of them? Because I'm just really feeling like your body wants some rest, but it's really been very challenging for you to kind of put that stuff over there. So I hope that makes sense. And if it does, you know, put a comment below. Okay. So Wendy says, I am becoming more comfortable in my skin. Reading was right on. Says good. Okay, thank you. Tumbling Dice says, wow, that was pretty good. That made a lot of sense to me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the reading, Rita. Well, you'll just have to come back every week, you know, to get another reading because it's fun. Where am I? Okay, there is like 5 more minutes. Hi, Dave. Nice to meet you. Amy says, thank you for the reading. Lately, I've been getting a lot of advice, tips about the business. I'll be sure to incorporate these. This is a very fun format tonight. Okay, good. You know, it was kind of like, you know, Spirit said, go ahead and do it. And so maybe this will be the new format. Great suggestion. I really like the deck. Thank you. Cool. And yes, it was definitely about the business, Amy, that I was getting, not about you personal life, but about the business. So cool. And then Bradley says, yes, right on. And Chris says, perfect for Bradley. And then Victoria says, Thanks, Rita. I have to dash, but I'll be back next time. Hope you have a great weekend. Bye, everyone. Bye, Victoria. All right, so Dave says, man, do I need a reading? Very bad month. So, okay, David, so let's see what's going on for you. Okay. Okay, so this is the card that came up for you. Should I like do this? I'll just put my finger there. This is the card that came up for you. So what I'm getting for you is that you need to spend some time nurturing yourself and taking care of yourself and finding those moments to have moments of gratitude. So if there have just been a lot of bad stuff going on or funky stuff going on, you know, maybe you can't find gratitude in that, but maybe there's other things in your life that you can be grateful for, and to bring those concepts back in to help raise your vibration so that it is better and higher. And then when funky things do happen, they don't seem as devastating, and they're not taking you further and further and further into the pit of despair. You know, so I'm feeling like nurturing gratitude. That's the word for you. Saying thank you, finding things to say thank you for. Okay. So Joe, I'm just going to like go for it and say you want a reading. Whether you want one or not, you're getting one. All right. All right, where are we? So let me see. Okay, so I'm going to do Joe and then Nancy. And I know there's a couple of other ones, but my time is up. And so you'll just have to come back next week to get a reading. Ha, 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 ha. And I'll be here, so you should just be here too. All right, Joe. All right. Okay, so this is the card that came up for you. And I feel like well, what do I feel? Ooh. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, so what I'm feeling for you is that there's stuff going on around you that is making you feel uncomfortable, is not how you would do things. I feel like you're kind of holding back your thoughts and your ideas, which is making it even worse for you because usually you don't do that. And don't. And stop. Because it's just not you. And I feel like it's just making the whole situation be worse. And I hope that makes sense. Okay, so Nancy, you are going to be my last one for me for the night. All right. All right, Nancy. All right, I'm going to mix them one more time. Okay, and so this is the card that came up for you. So I get the impression that there's something that you want to do or that you've been planning or has been back in the back of your mind, And it's making you kind of crazy because I feel like you're thinking about it all the time, worrying about it. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of thought process tied to it, but I'm not feeling like there's any action tied to it. And so if you want the thoughts to go away, if you want the crazy brain to stop, then you need to act. And if what I'm picking up is that there's something that you've been procrastinating, because that's a very common pattern in procrastinators, then just freaking do it. And it'll take the crazy brain and get rid of it, because it will just be done. Like that. Okay, let me just scroll down. All right, Star, you're going to get one because, no, I just touched it. All right, I'm going to go. I was going to say, I thought you were the last comment, but there's a bunch of new comments down there. So, all right. I'm just going to read through any other commentary. So if you didn't get a reading tonight, please come back next week and come early so you can, get on the list. All right. And then Lori says, thank you. I have been in a funk since my husband died. My friends are trying to get me out and have fun. Tears are easier than smiles right now. And I know, sweetie, I feel your pain. But take any opportunity to find the fun and find the happiness to help you, because anytime you crack even a little stupid smile, it's going to raise your vibration just that little bit. And that's all I'm asking. Okay, so Victoria said, right on the money. Okay. Okay, so Jennifer said, no relationship problem, but there has been so much drama and just crap situations in all my kids' life. It's been a lot. But for the first time today, things feel like they are starting to turn around for good, finally. It was hard to tell. I mean, I could tell it was a relationship, but I didn't know if it was like the boyfriend guy or one of your kids. It was a little hard to separate. But maybe it's time to just step back and let them deal with their own drama. All right, guys, let me go through my notes. So if this worked for you, if you want deeper insights into what's going on in your life, you have a health concern, you need some intuitive counseling or energy work, please go to, let me do this first. Go to my webpage, soulhealer.com, and schedule a private consultation. While you're there, please don't forget to sign up my newsletter at soulhealer.com. Please join my Facebook group, Dr. Rita Louise Live on Facebook. If you want, like, subscribe, and sign up for notifications on Just Energy Radio on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter. I'm Dr. Rita Louise on Twitter. You can also follow me on Rumble, Psychic Doc on Rumble. So anyway, guys, I love you. I will see you all next Thursday at 7 o'clock Central for another edition of Thursday Night Live. Till then.